Hey everybody, I'm Cheri Stoka. This is video 3 for my continuous glucose monitoring device experiment. And I usually like to start out with just some highlights. Today, I wanted to also kind of dig into blood sugar levels, where they should be, and kind of what you should expect after you eat and doing certain activities. And then I want to just wrap up with digging deeper into artificial sweeteners, sugar, alcohols, and such, because I did get a number of questions in relation to that based on my previous video. So I will touch on some of those things. I think you'll find it to be very interesting. The first thing I just wanted to start out with was helping people understand the difference between a glucometer. So this is like your handheld glucometer that people with diabetes will use to check their blood sugars, 2 to 3 times a day. And the continuous glucose monitoring device, obviously, again, showing you here, it's attached to you. So it's monitoring your blood sugars all day long. So no matter what you do, you're eating, you're not eating, you're exercising, you're having a bad day, you have a lot of stress, you didn't sleep at night. So you're getting a snapshot of all of your, your blood sugars all day long. Whereas a glucometer is just looking at your sugars, a snapshot in time, which is always predictive, because usually you're kind of trained or told to check your blood sugars at specific times. So you're checking them, in a fasted state when you wake up, maybe 2 hours after you eat a meal, and then before bed. So you're not really gauging what's happening outside those time frames. So that's one of the main differences. They both in general they do have some variability as far as error. And so with NutriSense, the company that I'm using, they kind of teach you to assess your numbers the first 24 hours, and then you recalibrate based on, what is more stable. Your blood sugars are more stable in a fasted state, because usually the 24-hour period is, again, just an adjustment for the monitor and getting used to your body and such. So it does, obviously, there is potential for some error. It's can go either way, plus or minus about 15%. So that's just across the board in, the handheld and the continuing glucose monitoring devices. So that's that. The other part I wanted to go over is blood sugar numbers and, where they should be. And, again, my focus is really not only trying to educate people with diabetes, but this is really for everybody, to try to improve their metabolic health, because so much has to do with your blood sugar levels. And so ideally, you want your blood sugar levels to be between 70 and 120 throughout the day. When you eat, you should see, obviously, an increase in your blood sugar, and it is recommended that you keep that spike at about 20 or less. So if you're at 120 and you eat a meal, you don't want that to go above 140. 140 really should be the maximum, because anything beyond that, it's that really is kind of giving us insight into what's going on with your insulin response and that type of thing. Or are you just, eating really bad food, processed food, or are you, doing some other lifestyle things that are contributing to that spike? So just kind of keep that in mind, 70 to 120. Being diagnosed, when someone is diagnosed with diabetes, they have a blood sugar of 126 or more on three different occasions. So that's kind of how it's diagnosed. It's not the best way, but because a lot of people walking around, could have 125 for a year, and they aren't diagnosed until they get to that 126, because that's diagnostic of diabetes. And so you can imagine all of the damage that's being done when people are walking around with these elevated blood sugars, and they think they're fine because they haven't technically been diagnosed yet. So just kind of keep that in mind if, again, you are someone who's interested in this and you want to, kind of check your blood sugars. Fasting should be between 70 and 90. And I am aiming for myself personally to be like in the 80s. I think that shows a little more metabolic health. Mine has been around 90. A couple times it was at 89. So I am definitely kind of focused on my fasting and looking to see what my body is doing when I sleep as well. So that's very interesting. And lastly, just noting that, blood sugars should not be below 70. If they are below 70, you will feel that, just like most people feel if you are above like even 150. Your body is so sensitive to blood sugars, you are going to feel things immediately. So if you're below 70, you're probably doing something to bring that back up. All right, so now I want to talk about sugar sweeteners, artificial sweeteners, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of information is out there. I have been in my education just learning about artificial sweeteners for so many years, and still I feel like I can't get good information. So I obviously kind of dig through a lot of the data, and then I, from a more holistic standpoint, I know that artificial is never good, and sweeteners not only are providing a lot of like chemicals in your diet, but sweeteners just in general are like 1,000 or more times sweeter than sugar. So there's a couple things to kind of note when you're really wondering, oh my gosh, like artificial sweeteners, should I be eating them? Should I not? So first off, there's different kinds. You have your artificial, which is like your saccharin, which is sweet and low. You have equal, which is aspartame. You have sucralose, which is Splenda. Bad. And then you have your sugar alcohols, which I was alluding to, because sugar alcohols just in general, from what I understand, are not detrimental to your health as much as the artificial stuff. So there are a lot of healthier food products that have sugar alcohols, and some of those would be like xylitol, malitol, sorbitol. So I'm going to talk about some products in general. But these sugar alcohols they're not metabolized by our bodies. So they literally kind of just go through our system, and they can cause a lot of digestive distress. But like in general, again, I just didn't think, they were really that harmful. Everyone has a different threshold, of course. Okay, so the last one we'll talk about is stevia, which is, comes derived from a plant. So again, in the research and what I have read is that they really don't have an effect on blood sugar. So what I have learned over the last, week, maybe less than a week, is my body is very reactive to sugar alcohols. And it was eye-opening to me because there's a couple products that I use on a regular basis, and not to diss the products because I do love them. So I was using Bulletproof collagen protein, and it has 1 gram of erythritol. So it's a sugar alcohol. And that 1 gram was enough to spike my blood sugars pretty significantly. And so by seeing that, I had a whole meal and my blood sugar was pretty stabilized. And I had like a snack where I put some collagen protein in, and my blood sugars went off the charts. So I'm very reactive to sugar alcohols. As well, I was using a product. I'm not going to give the name because of this one, just because I don't want anyone to have negative thoughts even about the Bulletproof, because I love Bulletproof, but for me, I'm reactive to xylitol. But this is an antioxidant sublingual spray, which is amazing. It has like glutathione, alpha lipoic acid, has so many N-acetylcysteine, so many beneficial ingredients there, but it has xylitol. So again, when I took this, blood sugar spiked. So I have to get those nutrients in a different way. Before I forget to mention, almost all foods now have some sort of sugar, even if it's your ketchup, your tomato sauce, your frozen meal, your crackers. Everything has added sugar. So we have to be super mindful of what we are eating, because again, the more we're fluctuating, the more we are damaging from a cellular, what's the word I'm looking for? From cellular layer. I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay. The last sweetener that I'm going to talk about is stevia. So I use drops. This is the stevia extract. So it's not the stevia in the raw, because that has dextrose, which will absolutely spike your blood sugar. So they call it stevia, they add more sugar to it, and it no longer really has any benefit. So always get the stevia extract, get the organic. It's always best. So I put this in my coffee every morning, and my blood sugars do not spike from stevia. So I will continue to use that. And I just wanted to, again, reinforce that everyone is different, and not everybody will respond the same way that my body responded. But it is just, again, it's just helping people understand that by managing your blood glucose levels can be life-changing, because now, like, these are easy switches for me. I immediately got I always felt like the collagen protein was super sweet. So now I know that it is too sweet for me. Again, just making those small tweaks, and then, you know, I'll see where all this takes me. So hopefully that was helpful. And if you have any specific questions, I'm happy to answer any questions. And then, as I said, I'm going to be posting a number of different videos as I go through this whole journey. Okay, thank you.